And here we are early on a Sunday morning doing yet another video. Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This video will be the continuation in a series of videos about posting payables bills. And in this one, our last one, we talked about deducting general liability insurance amounts from vendors that their insurance was expired or maybe too low. And in this video, we'll talk about deducting workers' comp insurance if they don't have it, and if in your state you're required to pay something on it for the trades that you hire, etc. In Texas, I don't think we do that so much, and so I'm not as familiar with it because I've not actually ever been through having in the real world having to deal with that as much. But I'll show you the tools that you can use and follow the rules in your state or whatever for what you need to do for this. First of all, let's post a new payables records. And we've been picking on our demo vendor quite a bit, ABC Foundation, but I don't think I'll use that for this one. But I do want to just go ahead and show you, just as a leftover from the last one, let's go ahead and update this expiration. Let's play like we got their expiration certificate. So we'll update it to 2016. And we're going to leave the workers' comp at 1/31/16. I think I'll even change it to 17. We'll be done with this one and having updated its thing. So let's just do that, and I just wanted to do that real quick while I was thinking about it, and that's how you can get that changed. And I could go ahead and click this pencil edit icon about needing to get the liability insurance certificate and mark it as done today and close that. And if we come back out of here, if I refresh it, that will go away from our list of things that haven't been done for ABC. But let's just pick on Big Buck this time because I want to show you that its workers' comp insurance is expired as of, let's make it expired, let's go ahead and make it expired January 31st. It's just fun how we play with things. And its workers' comp, its general liability is not expired. But since we're doing this in February of 2016, this should trigger an alert. Now, this rate we entered on the vendor setup bill, I'm sure must have to do with the trade. I made up 2% just because. You can read more information on the vendor setup window about things for that. But we have a rate of 2% here for if it's expired. So let's save that and close that. And we might, because we know this, we might add a new activity real quick for Big Buck and workers' comp certificate. Workers' comp expired 1-31-2016. Add a new record. I always like to just jump over and do a few of these things, and let's call it an alert. And let's save that, close that, and if we refresh that, we'll see that one. Every time we select Big Buck, we'll see this over here. So let's create a job-related bill for Big Buck. And we will select a PO again. We're waiting for it to check for those things that it might need to deduct for. I did this once before, but if you make any changes to that vendor setup from right here, you need to close this window, reopen it, because that's when it loads all that information about all the vendors so that I don't slow down this every time because after you enter a bill, you come right back to this screen, select another vendor, and I don't want to slow it down by always checking for all that stuff. So let's go ahead and do this. We've made that change we made to the vendor setup take effect now. But usually it says that at the top of the other window that if you make any changes to their vendor setup, to close that window and reopen it. So once again, like we saw in the last video, I'm only getting, if I select yes here, Some additional fields are going to be over here for me to deduct workers' comp insurance. So let's talk about that. Let's just go ahead and select a PO that still has outstanding amounts. This is for some other job we haven't actually done anything on hardly than the one we've normally been using, but I just wanted to get things filled in for us so that we didn't have to deal with that. And you can see that since this is 500 and this 2% dropped in, that $10 is down here to be deducted from this bill because their workers' comp is expired. And like I was talking about in the last video about general liability insurance, I like to set up what's called a contra account that's not the same account that I'll be paying. I guess maybe it's the state or your insurance company that you pay for workers' comp that you might have due based after some sort of audit about that, but I like to do one that's right underneath it, a general ledger account. So I'm going to select this one because I like to have that, the amounts I withhold from trades, etc., in a separate GL account on my accounting ledgers, just because I like to see in one of them how much I did pay for workers' comp and how much I actually collected from various people. So I'm going to select that GL number instead. And it's asking me if I want to remember that actually for next time. So next time, and it said it will remember it. Next time I try to do a workers' comp insurance deduction for any vendor, this GL number will drop in. What CHS is going to do is post one entry for a job cost, $14.30, and this cost code that came in from the PO, and for $500. Then it'll post a second entry for a credit of $10 that you can select to take away from their check when you pay them. And it will use the job code because we're doing cash flow for job, and this will actually just increase the cash from that job by about $10. But it will, when it posts this entry for deducting workers' comp insurance, it will use a 0 cost code. And notice that there is a little question mark here that's actually talking about it will not be posted as a job cost, it will post it as this, that it's giving you some of the same information I'm yammering on about right now. So, and that was there with the general liability one too. By GL number, we mean general ledger account from our chart of accounts. That's just some sort of old accounting term, so I use GL number because of space. And I call it a GL number that has nothing to do with general liability. You can see it's over here too. So let's go ahead and submit this. I don't think we'll get any overage alerts because we're just doing the exact amount of a PO that we issued. And I'm going to go ahead and post this payment because there's something else I wanted to show you. I'm going to play like we are writing a quick check for them today. But you'll notice right here that it's showing we're going to pay $490, not $500. And if I drill down on that, since I'm paying it, I've skipped past the screen for doing attaching. But right there I can drill down and attach a copy of the bill if I need to. I can write notes that I've been showing you in previous videos if there's something about that I want to write. So I could drill down right there, to be able to do that. View what was posted and attach anything I needed to attach to it. So we'll pay this today, and let's see what our previous check numbers have been. We'll play like we're printing a check, 3041. And let's do that because I'm paying this because I want it to show up on my audit stuff about the things that have been paid. So I could print this to print check, like I've shown you how to print a quick check and then come back out of it. But to speed up this video, we're just going to play like we wrote that check manually or something, and we'll post it as paid. So let's go take a look at our accounting ledger. I've already opened it. It's accounting transaction ledgers and filled in a date for this year and my GL accounts for workers' comp that I'd be paying the insurance company and how much I've deducted. So let's open a general ledger of just that stuff. We actually haven't written a check to pay for workers' comp insurance, and I don't know when that will happen during the year, maybe near the end of the year. So we don't have anything show up for that $82.30, but we do have this big buck showing up as -10 here. If we did have stuff showing up for $82.30, you could print a nice report. You could compare it the 8230, how much you paid for workers' comp to how much you deducted to see if you've collected a good amount to cover people that didn't have their workers' comp insurance. Now let's also go take a look at the vendor insurance and expirations window menu. And I just put in a range of dates for that year again, and I'm going to click this button for workers' comp audit that is in here. And what it will show you is all vendors that have been marked that workers' comp has expired and every invoice that has been paid during the range of dates that I put in here. And you'll see that all these people, they show their expiration dates are even after today, so they're all no. But you'll see here for Big Buck Construction that everything we paid was after their expiration of 1/31. So it's showing these as yes, expired before paid date. And if I did a results ledger, I could search for certain things and then just get the results. But it's going to go ahead and do a workers' comp calc on everybody. But it does show in red expired, yes. And you can see some information there. I don't know that you'd be giving this to anybody, but it's maybe just giving you some idea of what you would owe if they were expired, etc. So it gives you some information there. I really should show you how you can search for just the ones that are expired or not. So I'm going to say yes and then do a search. And you'll see that now I only have the Big Buck one. And like I said, this is a results ledger report. So I could just get a ledger of just the ones that are expired. If there's others that are expired, they'd also be here. And therefore get a reports total of what I might owe on all those that were expired. As of the date, what it's done is search for the ones that say yes here. So if this bill had been posted before January 16, it would say no and wouldn't show up. So that's the way that you could get just a list of the ones that are expired and get some good information. So that's all I think I need to say about workers' comp insurance deductions, and thank you for watching.